How's it hanging, YouTube? This is King of Pharaoh Imps, and welcome to Spooktober. And today I'm going to be updating the Umbral Horror deck. Of course, one of my favorite decks, and originally was my most viewed deck profile and what I'm most well known, but recently that's dropped down to like my fourth most. But whatever, I haven't updated this deck in a year, like I can't even believe it, just because there haven't been much big progressions or anything. But now that a lot of new cards are out, helping rank 4 spam decks, this deck, I went ahead and updated it, and this build is working out pretty well for me, and I'm liking it and everything. So without anything, I always hate saying without any further ado, I'm just going to get started. First off, for monsters are 3 of the Umbral Horror Unform. Now this is the main card of the deck. He's a level 4 Dark Fiend monster with 0 attack, 0 defense. He seems very underwhelming, but in all honesty, this is the best one of the Umbral Horrors. The effect is that when he's destroyed by battle while attacking, so you have to declare the attack and get it destroyed by battle, you can then special summon 2 Umbral Horror monsters from your deck, and you can only use the effect of Umbral Horror Unform once per turn. So this is the important one, but like I said, sadly, you do have to ram it into your opponent's monster yourself, so you will be taking quite a bit of damage because it is 0 attack. But like I said, this is just the main one. People compare it to like Box of Friends / Rescue Rabbit, but this is something all its own and is, like I said, the best card of the deck, and this is what helps you get all your big monsters out, and so on and so on. This is the next one, Umbral Horror Ghoul. He is a level 4 1800 beater, so at least this one has some decent attack, and he's got a good effect too. The effect is that you can turn his attack to 0 to special summon 1 Umbral Horror monster with 0 attack from your hand, so you can't summon another ghoul off of it, but you can summon another copy of Unformed. Say like you end up drawing 2 Unforms, Suicide 1, get your 2 ghouls or get 1 ghoul, and then this ghoul, one of them can special summon Unformed from the hand, and then you have some really good Xyz monster plays. He's really cool. I really like his design out of all of them the most. Well, I love both of these guys' designs. Their masks are like freaking... I ain't talking about designs. Anyway, he looks like Gengar or Sableye, but whatever. Sadly, these are the only... I'd say the only 2 good ones. The last one, he's alright, but we don't play many of him. This one is Umbral Horror Will-O-The-Wisp. It's got 0 attack, 0 defense, and as you can see, it's level 1. But its effect is that when it's summoned, you can target 1 Umbral Horror monster on your field or in your graveyard and copy its level. So when this comes out, it essentially becomes level 4 as long as you have another one. Oftentimes, off of Unform's effect, I'll summon 1 Ghoul and then 1 Will-O-The-Wisp just so I don't draw it. And then Will-O-The-Wisp can target either the Ghoul on field or the Unforming Grave to become level 4. I do play these, and I feel like you do have to play them just because you need more Umbral Horrors in the deck, and in order to get all the effects off. Normally you only get like Ghoul's effect off maybe once per game, and then from there you either win, and you win well, or you lose, but we don't talk about that. But anyway, like I said, so you do need to play a lot. Not a lot more, but just a fair amount of targets in case you can get that off twice, or in case you draw a lot of them. So a Will-O-The-Wisp helps. He also has another effect that if he declares an attack and is destroyed by battle, and the monster that destroyed it is still on the field, then you can destroy that monster. So that's like a decent effect. I have never used it. I think maybe once, but really I've never used it. So sadly though, you do have to ram it into your monster just like Unform, but it doesn't have that much of a payoff, so that's why it's not as good. This is all for the Umbral Horror monsters. There is one more, but he's not good, and he doesn't work out with the level 4 rank 4 theme, so we don't play him. But anyway, like I said, this is the core. I've been playing this core for the majority of the time I've been playing the deck. Thankfully, there are a lot of dark type support monsters that help out, and I'm just going to go ahead and get onto them. First off, what would probably come to all of your minds first is Kage Tokage. He, of course, you know, when you normal summon a monster, special summon this from your hand. It can't be normal summoned or set. It does help with your Xyz plays, and it does help because it's dark, because in this deck, things that are dark help a lot more, just because of what the deck is mostly capable of, and it is pretty much the best way of summoning them. You know, I guess like there are some other rank 4 things that can help, but I just like playing these because they're dark and they fit in well. Next is 2 copies of Secret Sect Druid Drew. This is an interesting card. When it's normal summon, you can activate its effect and special summon 1 dark type monster from your graveyard with 0 attack or 0 defense. And all of the Umbral Horrors are valid targets, well, except for Will-o'-the-Wisp, because this does negate its effect. And I believe in summons it in defense. But yeah, it negates the effect, so you can't really use these for the effect. Also, because it's a dark type attribute, I always get those mixed up, types attributes, but because it's dark, it does help with the theme. I really like this card, and in the past I would have played 3, and I think I was playing 3, but currently it's fine at 2, and but its effect does help, of course. Lastly, for the one-ofs is 1 Mystic Tomato, and then 1 Shadow Dragon. Let's see. So I've been using Mystic Tomato for a long time. You guys I don't even have to tell you that it's good because of Worlds, but sadly we're not playing Shadow Mist. But whatever. I was playing 2 copies of Tomato, mostly because they search out this guy here, the Umbral Horror, unformed, and because you can do this, ram this into your opponent during your battle phase, summon this still in your battle phase, ram this again, and you get your 2 monsters, and then also, like, worst comes to worst, you can set this. And this one is also a similar one. It does have 0 defense, so it's a valid Drew target. And worst comes to worst, you draw it, you can set it. It just has some decent synergy, and it's fine as a one-of. I was playing 2, and I used a super secret tech of Shadow Fusion for a while, just to summon like 1 window, but that became a little inconsistent and didn't really work out as well. But Shadow Dragon is just fine as a one-of here. That's it for the Dark support. The last other support monsters, I play 5 Clowns, 3 of the Damage Juggler, and 2 of the Hat Tricker. Now, let's talk about this. So Damage Juggler is extremely good. It can make your battle damage 0, which is extremely useful because you have this, which requires you to ram into your opponent and take some battle damage. So obviously this is going to be good, and then when it's in the grave, you can then search a Hat Tricker, which can special summon itself. I'm not playing Twerk Clown because it doesn't exactly help as much. I mean, like I said, this has such a good combo with this. It reduces some of the damage, and then it gets it in the grave to later search for this, which makes more rank 4 monsters, so it all has some great synergy. I mean, like, Twerk Clown is alright because it does come back, but this deck isn't so much graveyard focused. I mean, aside from the Drew and these guys, it doesn't really help so much. And then, of course, because I can't fit things like Math Mat or Foolish to dump the Twerk Clown to get its effect, it just doesn't help out. But these, of course, work out so well. I was trying to find like some decent amount of each to play, but I feel like this works out because it helps to draw this to make sure you take no damage, and then these are great to have. I might want to bump it up to 1 or maybe switch it around, but so far this is working. Anyway, that is it for all the monsters. Now for the spells, all the one-ofs are 1 Dark Hole, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Allure, 1 Dichotomy, and then 1 Day of Peace. Now, of course, Dark Hole, it should be a Regeki. I just don't really have the Regeki at the moment. But Dark Hole, in previous builds, I was playing Dark Hole, and when it came to 2, I was playing 2 because it does have a great combo with Key Beetle, which, yeah, of course, spoilers, we play Key Beetle because it's like the best card for this deck. But anyway, this should be a Regeki. Soul Charge works out just for bringing stuff back. Of course, I don't have to tell you it's good. A majority of the deck is Dark attribute, so Allure Darkness helps. You can always banish Will-o'-the-Wisp because oftentimes you won't like to draw it. And Akage Tokage if you absolutely need to, because sometimes you don't exactly get the best of hands. 1 Pot of Dichotomy. As you noticed, we are playing quite a few different types of monsters. We are playing Magician. We're playing Spellcasters, 1 Plant, and then playing Reptiles also, and then Fiends. There was a Thunder King in here, so it helped with. So that was also a Thunder, so it helped, but I took that out. And also the extra deck, you can fill the graveyard up relatively fast, and we do play like. It's very important to use all of these types of monsters. Like in a game, you're definitely going to use a Fiend, you're definitely going to use a Spellcaster, and very likely going to use a Reptile or something else, so it just helps with the drawing. And then 1 Day of Peace. Each person draws one card, and then you don't take any damage that turn. So this is another way to help with Unform and Tomato with ramming them into your opponent. And then after all these, it's just additional 2 spells, 2 MST, just to help with back row. I kind of wanted to bring this to 3, but then at some point almost wanted to drop it to 2. Sometimes it might get in the way of your huge Xyz combos, but it just helps with getting rid of things. And yeah, I do kind of want to bump this to 3. Then 2 2 Instant Fusion. I did have 2, but I loaned them to someone, and then I bought my 3rd, and then I need to get back my other, so whatever. That's a proxy there. But, of course, we do play Norden, so this just helps with the Xyz summons. Like I said, this isn't such a graveyard-based deck, but just Norden helps so much with rank 4 and level 4s, so we kind of have to play it. And then 3 Upstart Goblins, because you do need to draw into your stuff, and this just helps a lot. I've always played Upstart Goblin with this deck because you need to get all of your combo pieces. And like I said, especially in a deck like this, the 1,000 life points doesn't matter because you can oftentimes get into a great position and then just overpower your opponent. And that's it for spells. Now for traps, just all basic stuff. Solemn Warning, Compulse, Bottomless, Ring of Destruction, Vanities, and the Void Trap Hole. Hope you all can see that. I'm playing an extra Trap Hole thing. Just for some decent monster removal. I don't know what I want to use this or switch this out for, but like I said, I'm just kind of playing some extra stuff. All of these are very self-explanatory. Vanities is a very key card in this deck. And then 2 Fiendish Chain. You do need some monster negation, and I opted for Fiendish Chain because it sticks around on the field. Oftentimes you can summon Key Beetle. Here's an interesting thing. You summon Key Beetle, you set this, and then you Key Beetle target Fiendish Chain. You activate Fiendish Chain, and your opponent's monster effect is negated. They can't kill this because Key Beetle's protecting it. And then even when the monster is destroyed, this stays on the field, and you can use it later to protect Key Beetle should you need to. So that's just a great combo for this card. That's all for main deck. Let's move to extra deck. So of course we are playing 2 copies of Air Norden. This is just such a good card. I don't have to tell you it's good. 2 copies is fine because you do need to save some extra deck space, but in a way I found that this helps because it helps fill up extra deck space in a way, so it kind of makes you narrow down your choices, which can be good at times. So yeah, like I said, just very basic guy, and he does help because since he is a level 4, it does help, of course, being a different type and filling your grave with fuel for Dichotomy when you get it later. So that's all. Now for Xyz monsters, just basic stuff. Using a Rhapsody and Berserk is really good because you can, like I said, you can spit out multiple Xyz monsters per turn, so this just helps. 1 Diamond Crab King because for a good beater. Gagaga for the burn. Abyss Dweller. Now Abyss Dweller is actually really good now, or even better now that that Air Norden is a card, because since it's water attribute, it does give an attack boost to Dweller. And then just, yeah, like I said, just helps. 1 Excita Knight for removal. Let me send it out again. Heartland Draco. I don't know about this. I may keep it, may get rid of it, but it's there right now. 1 Castel. The 360 no scope. 1 copy of myself to search out Kage Tokage, because that can become sort of an integral card. Like I said, filling stuff for Dichotomy, and then for your extra special summons and Xyz power. 1 copy of Ragnazero because Ragnazero is good. 2 copies of Key Beetle. This deck is very... originally, this deck was like Key Beetle Turbo, and I was just playing a bunch of great stuff. Now, what I like about Key Beetle is because of it, you can side into some great Floodgate cards like Macrocosmos. Macrocosmos really does not hurt me. I mean, Norden and Drew and Damage Juggler, sort of. But if you get into a position where you have Key Beetle and you have a macro, then you won't need those effects again. And of course, macro comboing with Vanity's Emptiness. And if you have a Key Beetle on top of that, you're just doing really well. I was playing Safe Zone at some point, but I took that out just because now the deck isn't so Key Beetle centric, but it's still a very important card for the deck. It's a great side deck card. Like, this is one of the reasons I was able to beat so many cards, because I played this deck back in 2013 when Dragon Rulers were a thing. Well, this was after they lost the babies, but when they were still kind of good. This reason, because I was able to side into Floodgate cards like Vanities and Vanities, and then some other stuff that I'm really forgetting right now. Imperial Iron Wall, that's another great one. But like I said, this card is just amazing, and it opens up your side deck a lot. Then just 1 copy of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon for more beater. and then 1 copy of YuGiOh because it's technically part of the Archetype, but actually this is a lot better now because of Cosmo. It does help to negate their effects during the battle phase. And like I said, if you side in the macro, it helps because you can essentially just banish 1 card off the top of your opponent's deck every turn if this stays alive. You can also work in some of the rank up magic to play the rank up version of this, which is amazingly sexy and I love it so much. I want to work on some build that focuses specifically on the chaos version of this, but maybe in the future. Let me see. My 101, it is confirmed it's kill, so you could shove that in there somewhere if you need to. You probably will. You might even want to try a second Castel, but this is what I have at the moment. My suggestion would be just the 101. I need to get a new one. That's all for the extra deck. So anyway, that has been it for my updated version of the Umbral Horror monster deck. Like I said, I love this deck so much. This is essentially my signature deck because, I don't know, I really like it. I don't even know what else to say. Like I said, this is just a great deck. If you have any suggestions, let me know. I was going to say a few more things. Thunder King, I took out because it didn't have that much synergy, but I do like having something like it. I wasn't maining Mistake just because I had to play a lot of other things, but Mistake is a great side deck card, and I might even find some way to fit into the main deck. Macro, I was maining, like I said, but I took that out. I might want to try maining it again, but now that I'm playing just a bit more of Graveyard Focus, maybe not. Mask Chameleon, people always suggest Mask Chameleon. I don't like it because it does restrict me to only summon 1 Synchro Monster for that turn, and it's alright. I mean, you do have a great, reliable way of searching it. I mean, have you seen me? But I also don't like that I have to, if I play that, I also have to fit Synchro Monsters into my extra deck, which is even harder now that we have Air Norden here in the TCG, and he has to take up some extra deck space. So yeah, I'm not sure if there was anything else I was missing. Some people play Dark Necrofear, I just don't like it. And yeah, but there are some great other things that you could do with this. Right now I feel like this build works out with the Clowns and with Aaron Norden being in the TCG. Yeah, I'm just glad I can play this deck again. So anyway, this has been it for the Umbral Horror Spooktober deck profile. If you have any other suggestions for spooky decks you want me to update or to profile for October, let me know because it is Spooktober, and then this is super spooky, 2 spooky for me, 3 spooky, 5 you. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying. Anyway, this has been King of Fraliums. Have a nice day. Wow, that was a pretty great video. Let me know if you're liking Spooktober so far. Like I said, just go ahead and suggest anything. Of course, as you can see right here, there is a Pokemon. That's actually a bit of a tidbit or a taste of a video I did on my Pokemon channel. What's it like inside a Pokeball? Now, it's very interesting. I know a lot of us have been wanting to figure out what that is. So go ahead and click on this video or check out the card appearing right now where it's already up there. Or check the link in the description. That'll take you right to the video. Let me know what you think of it. Please show some support to my Pokemon channel as well. And yeah, have a nice day, guys.